My name is Martin Asiedu Date. Okay, so we start from Ashiaman, where a combined team of firemen from Tema, Ashiaman and Accra had to put out a raging blaze which destroyed more than 10 tanker vehicles at a tanker yard in Ashiaman. Several other properties in the yard were also destroyed. Following, however, no casualty was recorded. At least that is the only good news we are getting from that place. Eyewitnesses say they spotted smoke billowing from within the yard at about 12 noon on Sunday. The yard, which has more than 30 tankers, has been packed with several petroleum products. The intensity of the raging blaze compelled more fire personnel from Accra, Tema, Ashiaman, top fire service personnel from, and then also personnel from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and Valco to come together to put out the blaze. The fire engulfed the entire yard, forcing firemen to cordon off the area. However, firemen are yet to establish the exact cause, but we are told that it is likely to have been caused by some siphoning. We'll find out how that is possible and how that could have caused such, that kind of inferno. So we go to the lines now to speak to our reporter, Josephine Frimpong, who has visited the site a day after the event. It started around 12, we were told yesterday, and right around now, it's about 24 hours after. The blaze has been put off, but what's the information she's gathering? Josephine, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. All right, so what we know for sure is that the fire service men are still there to gather as much information as they can. Our reporter is there as well, trying to glean some information from them with regard to what happened and also the extent of damage the fire may have caused. And Josephine Frimpong would be joining us shortly to give us an update on that development. For now, though, what we know is that no life has been lost. So, Josephine, what's happening there now?
He just wanted to check my voice. Here is that a day after fire ravaged this particular tanker yard, it's been confirmed that 13 fuel tanker got burnt, fully burnt here, and it's only one that was not touched. But firemen have started investigations into what actually happened here. And also we are told that earlier in the morning, the officials of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, came here to check and find out what exactly happened at the tanker yard. And the acting director of NPA has instructed the owner of the facility here to produce documents covering this particular yard. So firemen have been doing their own investigation, so we want to find out what the firemen have been up and doing since yesterday till this morning. So I have with me the Deputy Fire Commander, Timothy Osafo-Efum, to just tell us what exactly the firemen have been up doing since yesterday. Mr. Efum, what has your men been up doing here?
Thank you very much. I think since yesterday that the fire broke, we were here until this morning when we left, because we didn't want to leave behind where we will have reignition. And looking at the situation here where all the tankers have content, if there should be reignition, it means we will have to go back and do exactly this, what we did earlier on, before we can bring the fire under control. And so we left personnel and equipment around to take care of the facility in the event of reignition. And so what they did overnight was to cool all the tanks so that there wouldn't be reignition. And we left here this morning where the investigation team also took over. They just completed their investigations, and so we are going to put our report together and then see what exactly happened before the fire occurred.
Okay, so this particular tanker yard, is it certified to operate here?
Yes, on our part, they have all the necessary documents to operate. Note that this is a yard. They don't sell fuel here. they just park their vehicles here, do maintenance before they set off for their journey. And so that is what they've been doing, and yesterday the incident happened.
Is it a proper train? Is that what is expected of them to do here?
Safety-wise, you see, we operate by law. And so when we come and you go by the law, there is nothing that we can do. But other agencies must also look at their side of the law, whether indeed what they are doing here is right or not. But on our part, we can confirm that yes, they have satisfied all the requirements.
Looking at how these tankers have been parked, lined up closely together, is it a proper thing to do? Because when there's a fire, it looks like it spreads so fast to the next tanker.
Yeah, that is one thing we observed, and that explains why all the tankers were engulfed in the fire within a short period of time. You know, fuels have vapor, and once the vapor charges the atmosphere, the least spark, then the whole place will be engulfed in fire. And that is exactly what happened yesterday. We realized that they should have leave some space, adequate space in between the tankers, but that was not done. This is simply because they have a lot of tankers parking here, and so the yard is smaller than the tankers that come. And therefore, they think that that's the best way they can do to accommodate the tankers, or the tankers that come to this yard to park.
All right, so that was the Deputy Fire Commander for the Tema region, Timothy Osafwefu, telling us exactly what the firemen have been up and doing since yesterday till this afternoon. So from the timber market, exactly the furnace tanker yard which got ravaged, my name is Josephine Frimpong. Back to the studios to Martin to continue with the news.
Thank you very much, Josephine Frimpong, with that that update actually. And when you look at the pictures of the tankers and how the extent of damage done to them by the fire, it tells you the intensity of the inferno. And we've been joined in studio by the Head of Public Relations for the Ghana National Fire Service, Billy Anaglate. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you join us. I mean, clearly we fall on you, the fire service, anytime there is such a major disaster. What can you tell us about what happened yesterday? What was the preliminary information you've been able to gather?
Well, yesterday actually we got to the scene. During the firefighting, we initiated our fire investigation into what actually might be the cause of it. There were a few clues, there were a few visible things that we saw on the ground. We saw two pumps that were actually with hoses that were actually showing that yes, fuel was being siphoned from one tanker to the other. So that was exactly what we concluded on yesterday in our preliminary investigation. But that is not to say that, yes, that is the exact cause of the fire. So we are continuing. Okay. That was how we have invited the owner of the premises with some of the drivers to our regional headquarters to report this morning. Then we can prove further to determine what exactly might be the cause and people that were behind those siphoning. If you look at the situation of that nature, look at the yard where they were doing the siphoning. It is not right for anybody within that sector to siphon fuel from one tanker.
How can simple siphoning cause fire? Could it be, just asking, that maybe there was some naked fire in and around the premises?
We are having a situation where several vehicles were parked and you are siphoning from one tanker to the other. It is not the liquid petrol or the liquid diesel that burns, but the rich vaporized gas from the fuel within the environment. That is what caused the fire. So even if you are siphoning, you are increasing the richness of the vapor within the area where you are doing your siphoning. So even a spark from a battery, the kicking of a vehicle, somebody making a phone call within that vicinity could easily trigger a fire. So it is wrong for anybody to do siphoning within that sector, even if it is necessary and important that you do it. That is why you are to call on the fire service who will come in and give you a fire cover, or to even see you putting in safety measures. But yesterday when we got to the location where this siphoning was taking place, there was not even a single fire extinguisher position to see
in
that.
Such a location?
Exactly. That when the unexpected happened, quickly they could use the extinguisher to extinguish. So purely they were only going with siphoning without any safety measure put in place.
Do we know the number of such places, such tanker yards, at least in the Greater Accra region?
Well, it will be difficult for us to determine the total number of those tanker yards in the Greater Accra region. Why? Because there are some of them operating illegally that it is difficult even for the fire service to locate all of those within. I believe to ensure that property and life are protected was why the fire service has, constituted a task force assigned specifically to those areas that they are moving day in, day out, to see if they will be able to locate where those things are. But you agree with me that firemen are no magicians, so we will not be able to know until even the public assists to tell us that yes, we have one here, then we can follow up to see if really they have other issues.
And that would extend the discussion to places like filling stations. What are the basic safety standards needed at least a filling station? Because these tankers, that is where normally they go to, they operate.
Yes, by law, LI 1724 Fire Precaution Premises Regulation 2003, made it clear that commercial premises filling stations such as what we had yesterday, first of all, you need to have adequate exits. In the terms of evacuation, in case of any emergency, people should get out freely. That is why you don't have to have congestion within those areas. You should also ensure that you have firefighting facilities like extinguishers, the hose reels, or anything that could be used to fight fire. Then you should also ensure that you have early detection and warning system, the smoke detectors, the heat detectors within the area. Notwithstanding that, you should ensure that all the workers within the area are taken through fire safety education and the emergency fire prevention education, so that people within the area will be able to have what it takes to determine any looming maybe disaster then they will be able to provide mitigating facilities to reduce whatever
any such disaster. Okay, and how often do we go on the task force you mentioned? How often do they go on checks? What kind of reports or information do they gather? Is there a general safety where we can all go to bed at peace, or there is the possibility that a lot of these places are not going according to the standards expected?
Well, if for all that the fire service is doing, using the media, getting into the communities to educate people, so we should be having some of these preventable disasters, then I believe that we are not safe. Nobody is safe, because there is nothing that the fire service can do when the public fails to complement our efforts. So there are situations that we get into premises after educating them, and then they are able to provide the facilities when we walk out from that place, and then other things are done. So it is difficult for me to say that yes, we can all go to bed and sleep peacefully.
Sanctions. Then we should have sanctions. We should at least be able to do something that is deterrent enough for almost every filling station, every tanker, to know that if you commit this kind of error or crime, these are the sanctions for. Are we sanctioning? Do we even have an example of someone who has been dealt with?
A lot. We have closed down filling stations before.
Yes,
even just later part of last year and early this year, we've closed down filling stations, and then this is what we've been doing. People have been taken to, the law courts for sanctions and other things for flouting our LI 1724. These things are there, but humans as we are, there are recalcitrant people, there are people who do things recklessly, and there are people who do not even care about anything. In fact, we will be able to prevent all this when people change their attitude toward fire safety.
Okay. All right. The numbers people can call in case they detect anything, can you help us with it?
Yes, actually, you can also use our emergency number 192. Since it is emergency situation, 192 to inform.
192.
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's a short-coded one. You can also call us on 0302 772 446.
772 446.
Yeah, 0302 772 446. You can call us on these numbers, and that will assist you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Billy Anaglata. He is the head of the Public Relations Unit of the Ghana National Fire Service, with an update of what happened in Ashiaman, and also nationally how they intend to keep everyone safe. If you find any suspicious activity that could cause disaster, you know the numbers to call. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. This is still Midday Live on TV3.